Hi guys, I hope you're all well and having a good Thursday. I just wanted to thank everybody for all your love and support at the moment. As I'm going through a bit of a flare, it's really not so bad, and yeah, I've been taking a lot of time just to rest and recover and get myself back into my usual shape as soon as possible. So, yesterday I chatted about the cycle of care, and this was quite a special episode for me because this is the cycle of care that I put together for myself through many years of trial and error to see what it would actually need to be composed of. So, today is the last day of week one, where I've been discussing all the ins and outs of being diagnosed, that time just before or that time just after your diagnosis, where you're feeling quite confused and just a bit lost. And overall, we've actually discussed quite a lot. We've spoken about family, we've spoken about friends, we've spoken about your own kind of guidance into a diagnosis, we've spoken about doctors and medication. And to wrap up week one, I thought that what would be best to speak about is your own self acceptance of your condition. And this is a bit of a tricky one because, yeah, it's important to bring it up now, but it's not something that just after diagnosis you'll be able to resolve instantly. This actually takes years to get right. But the important thing is to start it at the beginning of your diagnosis. So you learn to, yeah, see, I've got this one. So you learn to approach it with a positive mindset over time. And it's not easy, but what we often don't realize is how villainous we make our conditions look. And I realized that I saw my illness, I saw CRPS as this monster that had destroyed my life. And with time, and kind of guidance by the people around me and myself, um, I came to understand that as long as I saw it as this um, horrific monster, that it was never going to get better because I'd always just be fighting it, um, and that would defeat the entire purpose of pain management. Pain management is learning to live with it, not fight it. This is actually not a demon or a monster. It's something else, and I've got to understand what that is. Because so long as I see it as a demon, the longer I'm not going to make any progress with my own body. And I came up with a 3-step process about what it would mean for me to stop seeing my condition as something evil. The 3 questions I started asking myself every day until the answers changed were these. Number 1, what color do you associate your illness with? And this may sound like a bit of a weird question, but at the same time, color plays a huge role in how we process emotion. And it's been that way forever. You know, blue is sad, red is angry, yellow happy. What do you see your condition as? What color is it for you? Because for me, my condition was black for many years. I just associated it with death. And that was something when I realized, okay, I see my condition as black. I have to make steps forward to change it slowly. What will make me decide to take my condition from being black to pink, which I associate with beauty? And it's a question that is easier to answer if you do mindfulness and meditation, because what you're taught through that practice is to make that mental association change from a fundamental level. I'm starting to disassociate my condition with the color black and with death. The second question that you need to ask yourself is, if your condition were to be a person or a thing, what would it be? Okay, so think about what you would associate your condition with as if it were a person, because none of us are diagnosed with something and immediately think that that condition is us. We don't. We never think of us as being CRPS. We have CRPS. We are not CRPS itself. And for that reason, we always give it its own identity and its own, character. So what character would you give it at this point in your illness? When you flare up, or when you are in agony, or when something goes wrong, what does it make you feel when that happens? Are you scared? Are you angry? Are you nervous? Because these are all things that will help you build up the character of what you believe your illness to be and how it treats you. And once you've got that idea mounted, you can start to say, okay, well, what is it really? Why am I associating it with something so negative? And how do I take a step back and look at everything so you can then make a more guided decision as to what your condition really is? Because it's not a demon, it's not this monster trying to take over your life. What it really is at the end of the day is your body saying that it needs help. And what worked for me after I realized that was associating it more as a young child. I started to associate CRPS as maybe a 3 or 4-year-old kid who needed consistent care and attention, guidance, kindness, and consideration, because that's really what it was. I was restricted to do certain things because I didn't acknowledge the needs of my condition. When I started acknowledging it, then things started to change even more, because I was giving it what it needed to be happy. I started to realize that if I treat it like a young child who just needs to be nurtured and cared for, and that's a far more attainable obstacle to try and get over than killing a monster. So as you start to now see, okay, this is not a condition that is bringing only darkness and bad energy into your body through color. This is not a demon or something that's trying to destroy you. It's your body's plea for help, and you need to know how to help it. You start to make the mental change that, okay, this is actually a lot more manageable than I thought it would be. And the third and final thing is jot down everything that you feel your condition restricts you from doing. Because what makes us feel like this condition is darkness, that makes us feel like it is this evil monster, is the fact that we feel that we're no longer capable because we can't do the things we used to. And that is making us angry. That is making us have this negative association. So write it all down. Write down everything that your condition prevents you from doing on a daily basis, or at least doing properly. So whether that's driving, or having a full-time job, or looking after kids, or whatever it is that has stopped you from functioning the way you used to. Write it down. Because I can guarantee you now that 90% of the stuff on that list, you can find a compromised way to still do it. So we've established that you are not your condition, Your condition is something separate that inhabits within you. Now, think of it like any other relationship. Relationship needs compromise. Whether you're in a partnership or it's a family member or a child or whatever it is, any relationship you form will require some compromise at some point or another. And your condition is no different. You'll have to find ways to work with it and compromise on the things that you used to like to do for new things that will not trigger a negative response, will not trigger a flare-up. These are all things that are possible. It just needs a little bit of time and effort from your side to say, okay, what can I do differently to still kind of get what I had before, but in a way that's not going to hurt me? And this will start to form the foundation of how you regain your independence, because you no longer feel completely incapacitated by your condition. You're finding daily simple solutions to the things that you were upset you lost. And by creating this positive progress cycle mentally and physically and feeling more independent, you start to build up your strength again, both emotionally and physically, to take on this condition. Now, I know that, as I said, this is a really difficult one, and it's one that has taken me years to get right. 10 years later, to this day, I still see CRPS as a small child that I've got to take care of. Sometimes I do still see it as grey, and I've got to work quite hard to get it back to a yellow or a pink or something that I associate with happiness. But I work at it, and by working at it, I am able to get a lot further than if you just complain about it. So this concludes week 1 of my CRPS Awareness Challenge. Thank you everybody for all your support so far. I'm really excited for everything that I've got planned for the next 3 weeks. Next week is going to be all about keeping your together and how to do that when you're trying to juggle chronic condition and your life. And I look forward to having you all tune in. Have a good one, guys. Cheers. Bye.